listening to 90.7 FM WKGC, Panama City.
Good evening, Upper East Siders, and everyone who's trying to snag an invite to this podcast and radio show on WKGC 90.7 Public Media, Panama City. This is Doing Dinner. I'm Chef Chris, your host, and today you've tuned in to setting the table for some scandal, for some Gossip Girl, which is my favorite show, Ryan.
You were telling me earlier, Chris, that you watched it religiously over and over, and I'm incredibly excited to hear how you're going to adapt the show, which very much had a cult following and to some extent still does.
Still does, yeah.
And how you're going to adapt that. Is mentioned earlier, I was more Pretty Little Liars, but
yes,
they're in the same vein as one another. I'm really curious how you're going to craft an experience out of this wildly popular show.
Yeah, I mean, we did We Were Liars show earlier this year. Mm-hmm. We will probably eventually do a Pretty Little Liars as well. I did watch Pretty Little Liars too. I think Gossip Girl was kind of the one that founded that kind of genre.
I agree.
And it was books before, so and the books are fantastic as well. But the show on TV doesn't follow the books to the T, which is it's one of those, like, in the books you'd never find out who Gossip Girl is. So for those that have not watched Gossip Girl and plan on watching Gossip Girl, we're not talking about the new one. We're talking about the original. There is a spin-off series now, but spoiler alerts all throughout this show. There you will find out who Gossip Girl is in this show. So, the books dropped in the early 2000s. And the show came out in 2007, which is right whenever I was starting high school. So we all watched it in what Ryan coined earlier as what did you say it was? It was great. It's appointment television.
Appointment television. As a film scholar and film critic, also host of Real Talk here on WKGC. Which you can catch on live Mondays, 1 Eastern, 12 Central, or podcast. One of the things that I found that I've enjoyed, looking at over time, as I'm in the middle of, writing a book that's adjacent to the topic, is gone are the days in which we all get together at the same time to watch a particular show. The last time that happened was Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, it
ever
was.
since Game of Thrones, no longer have appointment television because you can binge an entire show because everything is on demand. What it deprives you of are those water cooler conversations.
Yeah, it does. It really does, because you can't all watch them at the same time anymore. There's too many spoilers.
You're not around the water cooler, around the coffee maker, talking about last night's episode, and I missed that. It was you might have been in your individual houses, but there was still a feeling of community. Yeah,
that's what was awesome about Gossip Girl for me was there used to be this thing called AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, I remember.
Or AIM.
Yeah.
AIM. And everyone would be on AIM watching Gossip Girl at the same time. It didn't matter because we were all in high school at the same time as Serena and Dan and Chuck. And like, it was just really, really cool to be, like, talking to your friends as the show was going on.
So let me ask you this. What was, if it's appropriate for public radio, what was your AIM username?
Oh, my goodness, it is. My AIM username was, you're going to make fun of me,
okay.
Ryan. It was Punkalicious00GC because I was a good Charlotte fan.
Mine was, this shows how big of a nerd I was even in high school. I wish somebody had stopped me to say, it's just like, let's tone down the nerd just a little bit. But this shows you how big of a nerd I was. I was Casca 315. Casca is one of the characters from Julius Caesar. And, of course, 315, Ides of March. Yeah. And I think I was reading Julius Caesar at the time that AIM
happened.
The name released, or I started using it, and so that was my username.
That's cool.
And so, it was probably my AOL email for a long time. Who knows? Maybe it still exists, unless they purged.
AOL does not. AIM doesn't exist anymore.
It does not. Okay.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think it died out in 2019, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so gone are the days of that as well. But
it's funny, the usernames that we pick, particularly at that stage. Everything's much more your initials, a name, or maybe you're like some kind of a brand. But back then, usernames were wild.
Oh, they were nuts, man. There was all kinds of crazy. There was no limitations to them.
No.
No, there was. You could do whatever.
You could do whatever.
So, but fast forward to 2007, the CW brings this Gossip Girl on life to television, and for 6 seasons, Kristen Bell's voice was the narrator, which is awesome, and she was perfect for that voice. Now, like, I've gone back and read the books, and I can't read them not in Kristen Bell's voice. So it's like, it's not in my vernacular, it's in Kristen Bell's, which is kind of cool. But she's like this mysterious narrator who is playing Gossip Girl in the show, and it goes through these teenagers who are very privileged, Blair, Dan, Chuck, and Nate, and then there's supporting cast too that are pretty awesome. But it goes through their life and about this very wealthy high school in the Upper East Side of New York City, and that's where they all live, and that's a very prominent, well-known neighborhood that has $20 million row houses. Funny enough, Dan in the show lives in Brooklyn. He is a writing prodigy. So he gets like a scholarship to go to this prominent high school in the Upper East Side. He lives in what is known as Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which is kind of super hip and like very hipster. But yeah, so and all of these characters it goes through their life about what happens during high school at a place like this. And it was very new because you used to not see on television a whole lot of teenagers drinking alcohol. Well, in this show, these are kids, and they're in bars and nightclubs and restaurants drinking martinis at these.
Just like the ones from Riverdale.
Yeah, like it's in 2006 and 2007, that was a little controversial.
Yeah.
So it did kind of pave the way for like, oh, it's okay to put this on TV. This happens in real life. If you're going to drink, please drink responsibly. Of course, use ride shares, but.
If it weren't for shows like Gossip Girl, we wouldn't have had Riverdale. We wouldn't have had Pretty Little Liars. We wouldn't have had maybe even We Are Live.
Yeah.
Like if it weren't for the success of that show, I don't think we would have those other shows. Or if we did, I don't think they would have the kind of consistent quality and tropes that they all have.
Yeah, and that's what makes it. That's what made Gossip Girl such a it wasn't just characters. These were like cultural icons for us in high school, right? You have Blair, and she was like this schemer with a soft side. Like, she was such a good schemer. She was like, she would have been the killer in Clue, right? And like, but it would have been hard to guess. And then like, she's always in like amazingly dressed, handbags and heels. Like, she kind of brought that into like showing like this younger generation that you can have designer things and you can throw parties. And she very much was a socialite of that age group. I mean, she had lunch at the Met every day, like on the steps of the Met with her little group, And then like Serena was like every guy's dream. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. Serena in the show, yeah, she's married to Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was like this golden girl. She like floated into every room, like every guy looked at her in the show. Like, she's this beautiful.
I didn't realize Blake Lively. Got her start.
Yeah, Blake Lively. So, and then you had Chuck Bass, who was like, I was him for Halloween one year, so it was kind of fun. Yeah, like he's like this bad boy with like brooding eyes and likes nightclubs and like. And then there was Dan, and Dan was this kid from Brooklyn. He was an outsider with a pen and a lot of opinions. And then there's like Nate, who I like to describe as like kind of like me as well. He's best described as a golden retriever, like super sweet, handsome, occasionally very confused about what's going on in his life. But yeah, and then like Chuck Bass would always say like, "I'm Chuck Bass." That was his quote. like I'm Chuck Bass.
Kind of like I'm James Bond.
Yeah, it was he has very James Bond like attitudes. Yeah, and Blair says in one of the quotes in the show, whoever said money doesn't buy happiness didn't know where to shop. Which in like the show, she's shopping at like Bergdorf's and like Neiman Marcus and like these really affluent New York City stores, which are still there, thank goodness, like Tiffany's and things like that. That's where she shops. I mean, that's where she goes like on a casual Friday afternoon to buy thousands and thousands of dollars of clothing. So, yeah. And,
if I did that same thing, it would all wind up in a save for later cart.
Yes. And then, of course, there's the famous quote, XOXO Gossip Girl, which I actually sign a lot of things. Like if I send something to someone, a lot of times I sign that on it. Like I'll put, if like I do a handwritten note, I'll write XOXO Gossip Girl on it. Okay. And then I'll put like a dash Chef Chris. Because it's just like fun, especially if I'm gifting someone something or they're one of my friends and they know like they always chuckle about it. Which is kind of fun, right? Like it's cool. And then but it's based in New York City on the Upper East Side, and it tackles themes of identity and privilege and betrayal. It has a killer soundtrack, even better wardrobes if you're into fashion. It was so much about the city of New York, which was so awesome. And then Manhattan. It was glamorous. The show was cruel at times, but it was very irresistible. Like we watched it religiously. I think I've watched the show front to end, all seasons, probably 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like you pick up these little things. It's one of those things.
You're
like
the resident WKGC Gossip Girl scholar.
Yeah, I love Gossip Girl, so it's definitely a lot of fun. And the menus, they go to a lot of restaurants in New York City. So the menu we make today is going to be based off a lot of that. Like they eat at one of the most common restaurants they eat at in the show is called Butter, and Butter is the name of the restaurant. It is in the Upper East Side. I've had the privilege of eating there. It's owned by a famous chef that is on the Food Network all the time, and her name is Alex Guinness-Shelley. So Alex Guinness-Shelley owns Butter. Yeah, that's her restaurant. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. And they also eat at Gramercy Tavern a lot. Dylan's Candy Bar. Dylan's Candy Bar is a cool place. I don't know if it's there anymore, but I've been to Dylan's Candy Bar a couple trips to New York ago. But Dylan's Candy Bar is owned by Ralph Lauren's daughter.
Oh,
yeah. So like
cool.
all these very affluent people are all, and there's lots of cameos in the show too of affluent people, and they eat at STK, which is a famous steakhouse in New York City, and like they go to a lot. Is
there every Sex in the City Gossip Girl crossover?
No, it would have been so cool if they did that though. They eat at the.
I could totally see Kim Cattrall, or Sarah Jessica Parker making a cameo in Gossip Girl. Yeah, and they like visit the St. Regis a lot.
Okay. So the King Cole Bar there, which is a famous cocktail bar in New York City, very classic. But and then. The cool part is, like, there's so many food references in the show. Like, Blair is obsessed with croissants and macarons, like these very elegant French things. And then, like, and her dad and her mom are separated, and him and his partner, like, they still do Thanksgiving together, and he makes his pumpkin pie. So, like, and she drinks, like, tons of lattes and, like, scones and mint juleps and things like that.
Oh,
like,
I like a mint julep.
I do too. They actually go to polo matches in the show too. It's very affluent. So, and then like Serena loves truffles. She likes grilled cheeses. There's like a late night scene in the show with burgers and fries, and she eats it with Nate and with Dan. So like, there's a lot of like love and young people relationships based in the show, which is cool. Like, and then she drinks a ton of champagne. And they're high school students, so.
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
American or cheddar?
American.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm cheddar.
No, it's got to be American cheese.
Really? It's not even real.
I know, it's American cheese product. But it's made for grilled cheese, and That's the only thing I eat it on.
Okay, I will
that
not
and a
be having
cheeseburger.
a grilled cheese at your house.
No, but on cheeseburgers it's also pretty good. But there's other great cheeses too. But yeah, so like the show also correlated with like current holidays, which was fun. So Thanksgiving was the Thanksgiving episodes. Christmas was the Christmas episodes. You know, where they're eating like turkey and venison and like
Ooh, venison.
Yeah. And they throw a bunch of parties at their houses. Yeah, they have dinner at their houses, which is cool. It's fun to watch, and it has so many food references in it because these people, that's what they do. Like, they throw parties and they go out to these nice restaurants.
If I had a live-in housekeeper, I'd probably do the same thing.
I mean, they do. They do have a live-in housekeeper. All of them, actually, except for the Humphreys didn't. Stay tuned. After the break, we will start talking the menu on 90.7 WKGC.
This is Mingo. If you think you've heard it all, think again. Jazz for the Night Owls.
Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. on 90.7 FM WKGC.
This is Tom Hudson. You think like an individual, not an algorithm.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
You want civility, not cynicism.
Yes, I just wanted to make a couple of thoughts.
You like to be engaged, not enraged. Alan has been listening in to our conversation in Miami. Go ahead, Alan, you're on the radio.
Oh, yes.
Then join me every Friday for the Florida Roundup. It's the place to hear from your neighbors and newsmakers from across the state. The Florida Roundup.
Friday at 11 a.m. on WKGC.
So, welcome back to 90.7 WKGC. I'm Chef Chris, here with Ryan on this beautiful day where we are talking about Gossip Girl Upper East Siders, XOXO, and we're throwing a Gossip Girl dinner party. Now that we've had our history lesson, let's talk about the food. And this is my favorite part of the show because this is when we talk about the food. And I bet we're going to have some truffles. We're going to have some truffles for sure. This has to be an affluent party. This one's going to cost a little bit. Yeah. Because it has to be over the top, as, you know, it has to be like Met Gala level.
So do we have to go and find a truffle pig? Are we going to?
No, we're not going to go hunt our own truffles.
Okay.
Although I do know where to get truffles, I just would rather buy them than go dig them out of the dirt.
Now maybe you could answer me this, Chef Chris. And many of your listeners probably, you know, maybe they know this. Maybe I'm the one who's clueless, but there are two different kinds of truffles. We have the truffles that are in the mushroom family, but then we also have chocolate truffles.
We do.
Do you know why they are both referred to as truffles? Because that seems awfully confusing.
They're shaped the same.
They are two completely different things.
They are shaped the same. They're both round. That's why. They're shaped exactly the same. Yeah.
Because on the menu, if I see like truffle fries, for a while I have to ask myself, are these going to be like chocolate fries or are these like truffle fries? And so I did not know. I would see the name like why would you put chocolate on that? That's awfully strange. But then later on I learned.
Actual truffles. It's actual truffles. It's not chocolate French fries. Which I mean, chocolate's great on like funnel cake fries. Yeah. But so yeah, this is the menu and I'm thinking it has to be affluent. It has to be very elegant and luxurious. This is definitely going to be a plated dinner. So we're not talking buffets. I think the last couple of shows we've done like buffet style stuff or station style. Clue had stations, but anyway, it's got to be these really cool dishes that represent and kind of go back into the show, like the amuse-bouche. We talk about amuse-bouches a lot. For those that don't know what an amuse-bouche is, yeah, it's basically a small bite that you receive from the kitchen before the meal. I believe I can't be for sure on this, but I believe it translates to mouth pleaser or like something along those lines in French. It's very, very old school, very classic French. Like we do it at in the John Hawley dining room. We always have an amuse-bouche, which is not generally never listed on the menu. You don't know you're getting it, and it just kind of comes.
I wonder if it shares a similar etymology with the word amuse or amusement.
Yeah. Mouth amuser or something like that. But it does. Okay. Yeah. And I want to do like these mini truffle grilled cheeses.
With American, I'm guessing.
No, we're going to use something else on these ones. We could use truffle. There's cheese that's truffled too.
Really?
Yeah, we could find some like really elegant let's see here. In the British Isles, they make some really good cheddars. We could use like a black truffle cheddar or a white truffle cheddar. Yeah, and then we could probably like shave a bunch of truffle all over it. So you got to buy truffles, which are like pretty pricey. I mean, I think they're like $100 an ounce.
But cheaper than buying the pig.
Yeah, cheaper than having a pig. Yeah, and then so we're gonna do like this nice brioche grilled cheese. And brioche is very eggy bread, so it like absorbs butter really well. It has butter already in it. When you make it, brioche is a process, but when it comes out right, it's really, really delicious. There's lots of egg, lots of butter. It's very squishy and airy. So that like grilled with like some French butter, truffles shaved all over it. And I would use like a microplane. Normally when we shave truffles, they're like on this little handheld like slicer. Looks like
is it kind of like a zester?
That's a microplane.
That is a microplane.
A zester is a microplane.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we can. Okay. I like to zest truffles, like microplane them, because it just like gives better coverage. And I think you serve this because there's definitely going to be wine pairings or alcohol pairings throughout this. I think you serve this with a dirty martini. Or champagne, because it's based on Serena. Serena loved truffles and she liked grilled cheese. Yeah, I'm good with both of them. I'm fantastic having either one of those options. But I think in this one, like a nice like grower champagne. Okay. For those that don't know what that is, when you go to when you buy champagne, there's some that are like just non-vintage, right? So they're
like just your run-of-the-mill sparkling wine.
Yeah, like we'll say like Moet, just regular Moet is non-vintage and it's not grower. Okay. So it's like it's grapes from all over Champagne region of France. Okay. And Moet has their own vineyards, but they also would have to buy from other people. Like Veuve is non-grower.
Not single source.
Not single source, right? So maybe like a really nice grower champagne, which can be very expensive. And then I think that it definitely should be vintage. Which
Dom Perignon, would that be a grower champagne?
Dom can be a grower champagne.
Oh, it can be.
And it's usually not released unless it's vintage. So it's not like a Moet, which comes out every year, right? Okay. Dom Perignon only comes out when it's vintage, which means those grapes are of the utmost quality that they think they can put them in the bottle.
Which is in part why it's
so expensive.
Exclusive. Yeah. It's not just branding; it's also supply. It sounds.
Yeah, like they have the grapes, and if they say, "Well, these aren't good enough," they just don't make champagne that year. They sell them to somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then those people will use those grapes because they're not up to their standards, which is fine, and they're all good. But Dom is exclusively a vintage champagne. Okay. Yeah. And then I think for course 2, something I don't really love to serve a lot of is salmon, but I think like smoked salmon with creme fraiche. I love creme fraiche and sour cream. I use it on a lot of things. On these little tarts or bellinis, you could do like the little bellini pancakes.
I'm unfamiliar with that term.
A bellini is like this tiny little pancake that's traditionally served with caviar.
Okay, is it like a Melba toast?
No, it's like a pancake. It's like a sand dollar style pancake, like about the size of like a sand dollar or like a 50-cent piece. Not the wrapper, but an actual 50-cent piece with some smoked salmon, creme fraiche. And then a bunch of caviar on top of it. Yeah, we got to have caviar on this menu.
From the Black Sea, are we going like official?
No, you can get some great. My favorite caviar producer is a producer called Petrosian. And they make a really amazing golden, royal caviar that is awesome. Real, true, amazing caviar has some of the most amazing flavor.
So you're saying row your boat to real caviar.
Yeah, row your boat to real caviar. Here in the South, we have mullet roe. It's kind of like a delicacy, and it's deep fried. But, yeah, unless you've ever eaten it in your life, it's kind of slightly off-putting. I enjoy it because I grew up eating it, but a lot of people don't. But, yeah, so smoked salmon on a nice bellini or something along those lines with creme fraiche and then caviar. And I think that you got to serve that dish with something super elegant. I think like a Pouilly Fumé, which is Sauvignon Blanc from France, or Sancerre, which is also Sauvignon Blanc from France. For those that don't know, Sauvignon Blanc is grown and bottled in France, and it has like 7 different names there because in France, and how they make wine in France, they don't name the wine by the grape varietal. They name it by where it's grown.
So it wouldn't be a Pinot Noir. I guess
it wouldn't be a Pinot Noir.
American...
No, it wouldn't be a Pinot Noir. Like a Pinot Noir would be a red Burgundy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a Cab would be a red Bordeaux.
Oh, Burgundy, Bordeaux,
yeah,
or even Champagne.
Champagne
is
an actual region, yeah. So they name it where it's from, and then each one of those regions has these like micro regions.
Okay.
So like it can be like Sancerre is grown in this part of Burgundy, and then Pouilly-Fumé is grown in this part of Burgundy. And yeah, so it is a white Burgundy, but then it's even classified like down to like this micro region. So like if Panama City was in France, it would have its own little wine name that only could come from here. But the French are really good about that, like having these AVAs. So if in America we would just have a bunch of Napa Cab, bunch of Napa wine. Like if it's Napa, it's Napa. Like that's what is Bordeaux is Bordeaux.
Okay.
So. Now, it gets very expensive based on where you're growing it, but either way. And then, I think we do, what I would actually call the first course. The first 2 that we just talked about are kind of bites, but they're very elegant, like truffles, caviar. And then I think for course 3, I want to do, something that I don't cook a lot of either, but it is squab, which is poultry.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah, squab or quail would be a good one here. Just seared quail, seared squab.
Is that Cornish game hen?
Kind of, yeah. A little bit smaller.
Okay.
Or duck would be amazing here too. With actually, we're gonna trade that out for duck. Yeah, like a nice crisp skinned duck with like some micro arugula on it, and then like pomegranate. Maybe like a pomegranate demi-glaze, like cooked down. I think is really elegant. Pomegranate and duck is amazing. So is arugula.
That would be known as a reduction.
Yeah. A reduction is like we like to teach because in culinary school I like to teach evaporation is concentration of flavor. So the farther you reduce something, the more concentrated, the more power the flavor is going to be of it.
Oh, like I guess the condensed milk.
Yep.
Would be an example.
Very, very similar. Naturally, it does get a little sweeter with it too because you're reducing that. But whenever you make a reduction, don't salt it before, salt it after. Okay. Because salt won't reduce. So seared duck, nice and crispy, some micro arugula. Like this really nice reduced pomegranate demi-glaze, and demi-glaze is a classic French technique, and it's a reduction of a brown sauce, usually made with veal. Okay. So you could make duck demi-glaze, you could make duck stock, and then reduce that down too if you wanted it to be like really concentrated and elegant. Okay. But it would be that would be a really great dish, and it's small. Like you're not serving a whole duck breast, maybe just a few slices, so you don't have to buy 10 duck breasts. You can buy like 4 duck breasts and then slice that into 10 portions, which is what I would do.
Like, would you say like thin slices or moderately thick slices? How would you slice it?
I would slice it on the so there's 2 ways to do it. One of the trendy new ways to do it is slicing it from top to bottom. We're starting to see a lot of that in cooking trends is where they're slicing it and then serving like half the duck. But you could do like 3 and then lay it flat, and then you see the like inside of the duck. Yeah, which would be cool. You probably do it like that for this because that demi-glaze is going to hold up really well, and then it'll be dark red because of the pomegranate. So that's going to kind of match the more lighter red duck, and then like that micro arugula will be very vibrant green.
Well, I love the contrast.
Yeah, the colors are important too.
Very elegant presentation.
Yeah, the colors are important. Like when you're cooking, you want it to look good. You don't want it to be just like one color on the dish, right? And all of this should be served on white plates. Okay. The reason why
or round?
It depends. Preferably like white china. That's like from Bergdorf's or like some really or
no
Tiffany's white china. Like that would be great here. And that I like that. But yeah, the reason restaurants have white plates is because food looks better on white. Yeah, it does. And then I think we do for our main here, lots of oysters. I want to do Oysters Rockefeller, Oysters Casino, like these really classic, iconic presentations of oysters that are just luxurious and layered, and they're unpolished. Oysters are unapologetically indulgent to me. Like they can be very basic, and we think of them, especially in our community, as this very basic, like needs to be affordable.
Oysters on the half shell.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
But the reality is there are oysters that are grown all around the world that are elegant and delicious.
Wow.
And then for dessert, I want to do Blair's Dad's Pumpkin Pie, which there is a recipe online for. You can Google Blair's Dad's Pumpkin Pie, and it has like the cinnamon whipped cream on it, and it's good. And like she's obsessed with it in the show. Blair's obsessed with this pie in the show. And I think you serve that with like a late harvest Riesling, which is going to be a little sweeter. So stay tuned on 90.7 WKGC. We'll be right back.
Fred Plotkin introduces us to the special kinds of pasta you'll find all over Italy.
Italians know how to use their noodles.
Jeff Biggers recommends the island of Sardinia, with a culture that's older than Rome.
Antiquity makes up a lot of their identity.
And spot the best gelato in Italy to make the calories count.
In nature, bright color are usually a sign of danger.
On the next Travel with Rick Steves, Sunday afternoons at 2 on WKGC FM 90.7, Panama City.
Move over, large language models. Artificial intelligence companies are trying to apply visual language models now.
An image has so many details in it. What would you focus on? So it's much harder problem than generating language or anything else.
I'm Kai Rizdal, I Spy, with my AI eyes. Next time on Marketplace.
Weekdays at 5 p.m. on WKGC.
Welcome back to 90.7 WKGC. I'm Chef Chris, and today we're talking XOXO, Gossip Girl, y'all. I haven't said y'all yet in this show, so welcome back to the show.
I don't think we're allowed to say y'all since we're on the Upper East Side.
We're on the Upper East Side. They look at me very funny in New York City. By the way, New York City is my favorite city in the world. I love New York City. I eat very well in New York City, and my favorite restaurant is in New York City. So, yeah, it is. It's in Greenwich Village. Yep, and it's amazing. It's a really, really great place. But here's the truth. Gossip Girl wasn't just a show. It was a mood. And if you want your dinner party to feel like Blair and Serena might walk in any moment, you're going to have to nail the decor. And it's going to have to be luxurious. So I'm thinking like black, gold, ivory, lots of blush. We're going to set our table with like gold rimmed glasses, golden chargers, low, really elegant and delicate flower arrangements. Like in the show, whenever you're at the Waldorf residence, like in the center of their Manhattan like condo or whatever it is, they have their own private elevator, and like the elevator opens up and it walks out into like this like common area, or foyer is what they call them. Foyer. Yeah, foyer. Foyer in the Upper East Side. But there's always like some elegant flower arrangement in the middle of the room. So I think like having like your centerpiece being a very elegant flower arrangement.
Orchids? Irises?
Orchids, irises, roses. I don't know. Go all out on that one. So depending on the time of the year too, and what's growing, you know, like I would say stay away from things like sunflowers or.
So no silk flowers. We're talking real flowers.
Yeah, real flowers. Rarely do I do a party with fake flowers. Rarely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost always real.
Is it because silk flowers have certainly come a long way and they look realistic, they don't have the aroma. Is it the aroma, or is it just it's just knowing that these are real flowers?
I think it's just knowing they're real, and like they're just part of, I love flowers. Okay. So, and I've catered enough weddings now to know that like you just use real flowers. Okay. Yeah. thanks to one of my very favorite wedding designers. Her name is Rochelle Yowd. I'll give her a shout out for teaching me, like, we always use real flowers. Yeah, which is cool. And especially for this party, you have to use real flowers. I think that's, you find your local flower shop and go down and get some amazing flowers. Tell them what you're doing. Like, I'm throwing a Gossip Girl party. I want it to be Gossip Girl-like. And I'm sure that they can rack up your American Express with all kinds of fun things. So, I think you got to have lots of candles. You're going to keep the lighting a little low for sure. But
all natural lighting.
Yeah, I think very natural. Yeah,
natural lighting?
I think so, but have some chandeliers too.
Okay.
I think chandeliers are amazing. If you're doing it outside, maybe having like some chandeliers hanging from trees or something like that, which I've seen done before. It can be done. But, I think it looks better by candlelight in this one. So very natural light, maybe some very dim chandelier light, which would be fun.
What do you think about those floating candles? I've always
I
thought
like
those
them.
look very pretty.
Yeah, I like them. I like floating candles. And there's tons of things that you can put them in now that look really, really good. So I don't have a problem with them at all, and I think that's an excellent idea. There's some floating candles in there. Let's see here. And I think on the TV, you should play Gossip Girl. Find your favorite episodes, and I think you should print out like pictures of the Met, because that's where Blair eats lunch every day, on the steps of the Met. Their school is like right around the corner, so which is kind of cool. If you ever seen the show,
the idea of posters, like you get a frame so it looks classy, but you have posters of these locations you're talking about hung around the room. Do you think that's overdoing it, on the verge of being tacky, or do you think as long as it's rather minimalistic that it could add a nice touch?
Yeah, minimalistic, or have like if you're doing it outside, having like some like digital art going of these places, which would be kind of cool. You can project them. Projectors are now like, you can get a great projector for $100.
Dollar General sells.
Yeah, like you can get them for nothing now. But having like that, like kind of transforming through like the places or scenes of the show, or if you have time to edit, or somebody who edits videography, like doing that would be kind of cool.
Okay.
And you got like YouTube is an amazing tool too for dinner parties. Like, I tell people, like, go to YouTube. Number one, you can learn how to do a lot of things on YouTube. But number two, if you just put a quick into the search bar, best scenes of Gossip Girl combined, you're going to get like hours and hours and hours of stuff that you can use, and just put it up there and just let it roll, because then it's like all your favorite parts, and you're like, oh, I remember that part. Or if you haven't seen the show as many times as I have, then you're like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. I forgot about that. And yeah, so, and then I think we need to add like some cheeky touches too. So, but classy, like you got to have place cards at a party like this. And I love place cards. Especially if you can be kind of gossipy with them, and like write something about your friend that maybe no one else knows, like on the place card.
So maybe on the side that's facing them, I'm guessing little tent cards.
Yeah.
So on the side that's facing them, it's their name.
Yeah.
But on the other side,
is it can be something else, like something that about them that's kind of like. What is that game that we play now where you put the stuff over?
Heads Up.
Yeah, Heads Up. Heads Up would be a good game to play at something like that, or very heads up-y, like, or put things on the back side of the cards that are about someone in the room and everybody has to try to guess who it is.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. And then like just have Gossip Girl quotes, like, kind of scattered throughout your space or on those little cards, like through the center of the thing. Because there's
favorite quotes?
XOXO.
Okay.
Yeah. And I liked Chuck Bass's I'm Chuck Bass. Like I'm Chuck Bass.
I'm Chef Chris.
I am Chef Chris, but I don't talk like Chuck Bass. I was Chuck Bass for Halloween one time. People thought, they were like, what are you, married? I'm like, nope, not that. But yeah, I think that would be fun. And I was Chuck Bass for Halloween. It was fun. Yeah. And you can do like a cool, like photo wall of your friends from the past, right?
Okay.
Because you probably watch this with friends. You probably like bonded over this show with friends.
Appointment television.
Yeah, appointment television. So like having like a vision board of like just pictures with your friends. I had a friend, and she has the most amazing pictures from high school. She took so many photos, and whenever we were in high school, she like had them all over her room. It was like wallpaper, so many of them, but she kept them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, dang, if I throw a Gossip Girl party, I'm gonna have to hit up Becca. Becca, you gotta let me borrow some pictures. But she has amazing pictures. And Blair used to wear headbands. So I think you invite your guests with a very classy invite, right? I believe in invites to parties. No evites. No, we send real invites. I mean, if we're going to bring dinner parties back, I think you have to bring them back how they should be done.
I do that with my annual Christmas soiree.
Yeah.
I mail the invitations. I also, and this is regular from me, birthday cards or other types of celebrations, I have a wax melter and a stamp.
Yeah.
And I stamp the hot wax because it just gives it just a wonderful presentation style. And when you get something in the mail with a wax seal, you feel like you've truly like received something of value. And I always handwrite the invitations and send it out. And it got me into the habit of sending out birthday cards to my family. Actually mailing the cards. I used to do e-cards all the time, but after mailing out these invitations to my annual soiree, I said I want to start doing that with birthday cards, and I did. And you know what? People love receiving something.
Oh yeah,
like that you can touch in the mail.
They do, and I think it's really cool to handwrite it. Mm-hmm. You know, sure, you can get some amazing ones done with some cool script, but you can have somebody do calligraphy on them for you, and then it's awesome. Or if, you know, I have terrible handwriting, so I don't write my own, but I know people who do that.
I do write my own, and I usually get a phone call, what is this?
Yeah, what are you trying to say here? Like, is this an I or L or who knows? But I think that handwriting, having calligraphy in this is going to be a cool invite. And then in the invite, you got to encourage your guests to dress appropriate. Like
no blue jeans.
No, we're not wearing any jeans to this party. You know, ladies will be in dresses and gentlemen will be in coats. And that's just what it is. Or at least in polos, right? You can look really fresh and fun in a white polo. Because they go to polo matches in the show too, but I think Blair always wore a little black dress with a headband. So she wore LBD. It was probably Chanel, you know, or Valentino or one of those designers that can be done. And Serena always dressed a little more modern. Blair dressed more classy and refined, and whereas Serena was more I want people to look at me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Chuck, you know, he was always in a coat, always dressed to the nines. Sometimes he would have a scarf or an ascot or and then Nate was kind of the polo guy, and then Dan was just in t-shirts and stuff too, but which is fine because that's in the show. That's who these people are, and that's these characters' MOs. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think having your guests, and that's one of the themes that we always talk about on Doing Dinner, is having your guests dress appropriately for what it is, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want anybody to show up in board shorts and flip-flops to an event where people are wearing $600 dresses. Or in this case, if it's Chanel, $6,000 or $7,000 dresses, which is insane, but they do exist. And if you ever get the chance to go to Bergdorf's or any of or Saks on Fifth Avenue, you'll see what I'm talking about. They have those things on display there.
Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, Bloomingdale's is a good one. And I've been in them and looked, and I'm is that number real? Someone's gonna buy that? And people do. Yeah, people do buy it. You know, those people usually have private jets, but. So I think that's one of the things that you love to do. I think at this party we got to do a lot of social media. We have to integrate social media into it somehow.
Which is something that would have only been a fledgling of a medium when the show first came out. It was around, but certainly not to the level that it is today.
No, it was MySpace, but they didn't really have Another thing Gossip Girl did that's very underrated is it started blogs because it was based on a blog.
Okay.
So Gossip Girl was actually a blog, which you could go and read. And they would send out text messages. Gossip Girl would send out text messages and say, there's a new story up. And it'd be like XOXO, and it'd always be like a little excerpt from the thing. It's like, Serena was spotted on the Upper East Side with Dan Humphrey, or as in the show, he's known as the Lonely Boy. And it'd be like a text to your phone, and then everybody would like go to their computers. Yeah, because it was very early on. Like we're talking like the Razor and the BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry.
Man, BlackBerries were awesome.
They
were so great. What happened to them?
I loved my BlackBerry. That was the first smartphone that I had. It was the BlackBerry Curve, the BlackBerry Curve.
Yeah.
And I could fly across that keyboard typing. I loved the little roller ball for the mouse.
Yeah.
And I think actually, a lot of what you talk about is covered in the Oscar-nominated BlackBerry from last year.
Oh yeah,
nominated for
that's right.
Performance, and I think there was one other nomination, and it goes in to show that they got too confident, and they did not. When the new Apple was releasing iPhone, they just ignored it, thinking that nobody was going to want it, and so they were slow to adapt. And then they cut corners with their first touchscreen phone, and that's really what cost them the industry. One of my favorite films from last year, and I've since I think I've since rewatched it once. And Glenn Howerton, as he was nominated. I think there was one other nomination in there. But yeah, I really I really like that.
You would have people like reading their BlackBerries. Or opening up their Razors, or like having some of that like nostalgia stuff, like some talking points for entertainment would be fun, especially about stuff like that, because that's what we did, right? Like that's what we had. And now that we got the table set, the wine poured, and the menu's ready, and we got everything designed, and we got some fun things that we're going to do at this party. Isn't that always the best part? Stay tuned. XOXO, Gossip Girl. This is Doing Dinner. We'll be right back.
For violist Imad Zolfagari, a bow is more than just a piece of hardware.
You have to play by feel, and so I think bows are much more personal than instruments.
Imad Zolfagari shares his thoughts on bows and music and life as our next young artist in residence on the next Performance Today from APM.
Weekdays at 6 p.m. on WKGC.
Tech CEO Victor Riparbelli says that in the future, AI avatars will be teaching our kids.
Your kids' may not read and write. They'll be watching and listening instead.
Hey there, learners.
I'm Professor Cadence Hartman.
I promise I got some interesting stuff, and it's going to take less than 2 minutes for you to learn something cool.
How AI is shaping education. That's next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WKGC.
Welcome back to 90.7 WKGC. I'm Chef Chris, sitting here with Ryan, and we're talking Gossip Girl today, a Gossip Girl themed dinner party. And today we took a nice little walk up the Met Steps, or maybe it was down the Met Steps, I don't know. But we explored kind of the history and the backstory of Gossip Girl and the cultural icon that it became, and some of the things that we do today. And I mean, it spurred bloggers. Mm-hmm. It showed us that, that a whole different way to live, really, because it was so accurate to how these people live in this part of New York City, and kind of behind the scenes of what goes on at affluent private schools and what friend groups look like, right? Because this was a group of 5 friends with a great supporting cast. Dan had a little sister, and she was awesome, but, and we planned a 5-course feast, which is cool, and it's very luxurious food. We had caviar, and then we had
some new words.
Like amuse-bouche.
Was that the first one? The
amuse-bouche. Amuse-bouche. Yeah.
But it's not an hors d'oeuvre.
It is not an hors d'oeuvre. No. Usually it's very small. Usually it's one bite.
Oh, okay.
Usually amuse-bouche is one bite. So, you know. And we talked about like some of the characters and what that did, and then we got into BlackBerry conversation, which is fun. I believe in the show they did have BlackBerries.
Okay.
I believe.
About that time, I could, yeah.
Yeah, I believe they did, because the iPhone didn't come out till like 2009, 2010.
2007.
2007 is when the iPhone came out. They definitely didn't have iPhones yet. At least I don't believe they did.
Probably.
No, they didn't. They didn't have iPhones yet. Maybe in the later seasons they did, but definitely not in the first season, which came out in 2007. But the show stayed with the script. Like, it was like the old text would be like popping up and what it is. So, which was cool. Like, I'm glad that they didn't change that. But going through high school with these characters was a lot of fun. It was really cool, you know. Maybe that speaks to my age, but it was fun. And I always wanted to do a Gossip Girl party. And I've, you know, done Gossip Girl Halloween stuff, but never like, hey, let's do a Gossip Girl themed dinner party. Yeah. And that would be fun, you know? And you can invite people. Most people have watched the show by now. Or they know about it enough to know that XOXO is iconic.
Even I knew that.
Yeah.
Admittedly, at the start of the show, it's not a show that I watched, but I knew that just from it being referenced in pop culture, and certainly the type of show that it was. So I think even if you haven't seen all the episodes, or maybe a single episode, if you're alive, you're familiar with it
You're
on some
at least
level.
very familiar with
So
it.
I think you can still go to the party and feel part of the event, and you won't feel like you're missing out on being able to participate fully. I think you can still, because it is, it inspired so much that would come, you know, after it in terms of that type of show, that you can still feel yourself immersed within that world.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it created fashion trends. Like, this was a television show and an idea that it was books, and it was wrote books first, but it created and it influenced how an entire country worth of young women dressed, which is insane, right? It's like pre-Kardashian. And anything that has that type of influence is always going to have like a cool place in people's hearts. And people are always going to, you know, get on board for it, which is why when they decided they were going to come out with a spinoff, like a second one, I was like, this is a terrible idea. Like, what are you doing messing with something that was almost perfect but it came out at the right time. Like, it was the perfect storm for it. Was early social media. It was early blogging. You know, it like right at the perfect time.
Would you say that it was pretty consistent towards the end, unlike Riverdale, which I watched, you know, all the time until it just went completely off the rails, and then it was just no longer fun to watch. And so would you say Gossip Girl was consistently delivered the quality that you came to anticipate and expect in the beginning? Did they carry that through all the way to the end?
Oh yeah, it did. It wasn't like those shows that get a little off the rails at the end, where they're just like, you can tell the writers are trying to write something and they just don't know. It's like, no, it stayed super consistent. There wasn't any like ghost or people coming back to life.
Is there a musical episode?
No, there's no musical episode. The music in the show is fantastic. Some of the soundtracks were very hip and popular of the time too. And it got great positive reviews. So, I think it's one of the most popular. Still to this day, people watch it. Still to this day, people watch Gossip Girl for the first time. Like teenagers or young adults, you know, because it is a YA novel. It is a young adult novel. It is based off young adult novels. And the young adult novels are even more controversial than the show was. So, there is some things that went into Gossip Girl about it's gossip, right? Like you have to be careful with that, especially in 2025, because you can really hurt people, and we understand what it is now. Certainly, if someone was doing this now, what the premise of Gossip Girl was in real life, it wouldn't go over very well, right? It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. So, it ran from 2007 to 2012. I was in high school and in college at that time. So, I loved it. You know, Blake Lively was great. Leighton Meester is Blair. She did an amazing job. I always said that if I could have anyone play me, it would either be Mark Ruffalo or Penn Badgley. I would love Penn Badgley to play my life. Penn Badgley would be a good one for me.
You know, I think I could see that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And, I mean, you know, I think that would be fun. I think Penn Badgley would be fun. Who would play your life?
Oh gosh. I can't say I've ever put much thought into that. Oh goodness. I have no idea. I have never thought about that before.
People ask me sometimes. I'm like, oh, Penn Badgley. Yeah. And you know the cool part, one of the cool things that I didn't know about it until I started researching the episode today, or the show today, was that Kristen Bell is unaccredited in it. And she was the narrator for every single show until the very last episode. Yeah, but you know it's Kristen Bell. Yeah. Like, she has a very distinct voice, you know. You know it's her, but never did it mention that that's who it was talking till the last episode. Which is kind of cool. And maybe you could play a little fun Gossip Girl party at your house. Like, try to, kind of like a Clue game, you know, which we talked about last week. You could win some Gossip Girl and Clue, like who is Gossip Girl at the party, you know, and it would be fun. So
I like there's a lot of opportunities for that interactionary element.
There is.
Other than the food, of course. But there are a lot of opportunities to make it a highly participatory dinner party, and I like that because it adds an additional kinetic energy that will really just feed the room. And so I like how there are those opportunities, and what you have guided us in crafting with the Gossip Girl dinner party.
Yeah, and I really like it, and I think it would be fun, especially when you know a lot about something. Yeah. Right? Like, so you kind of get, if you're someone who loves to be the center of attention, when you're planning a dinner party, plan the party around something you know. And then you can be very interactive with your guests or your friends or whoever it is, you know? And that's one of the fun parts about doing dinner parties. They're coming back. There was just a huge write-up in Food and Wine magazine about dinner parties. That was wrote by Martha Stewart, who's one of my, I'm a huge fan. In my office, I have a Martha Stewart shrine.
Ooh.
I really do. You can come and see it.
Is it complete with the ankle monitor?
No. We don't talk about that. Actually, there's a quote. There's a quote that I have hanging in my office that is a quote that she said about those prosecutors. And it was something about putting them in a blender, but I won't repeat it on air. But yeah, I have it hanging in my office.
And here you're talking about Penn Badgley, who was also in.
Yeah, that movie was nuts.
What was that? What's the name of that series?
I can't remember what it is. Dang.
I'll remember it as soon as we get off the air.
Yeah, we should do like. I like to do dinner parties based around TV shows and books.
That's wonderful. Idea.
Yeah. Like Alice in Wonderland's great. Like a Disney themed Easter was fun. And we do a lot of them. So, and it's easy because then you know it. You have something to go off of. Around the world, the one that we did a few weeks back on.
Alice in Wonderland?
No, we did one a few weeks back on Around the World in 80 Days and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
And just last week, Clue.
Yeah, Clue.
So,
Clue
it's not, it's not a. Well, I mean, it is a movie. It is a movie,
and a book now, and
a book. Yeah. And so that was. I think it's because we can all. There's this mutual connection.
Yeah.
With the item that's being used as the chief theme.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it lends itself to, I think, creating the dinner party a little bit easier.
It does.
Than just starting completely from scratch, because it's kind of a template of sorts.
It's a content builder for you, which is great. And that's the easiest way to start doing these things. And if you don't have dinner parties at your house, there are plenty of people that do them, that love to do them. Like I'm doing a Clue party in a couple weeks, and I'm doing one based off herbs in like 2 or 3 weeks, and
like herbs and spices.
Yeah.
A whole dinner party
based on
herbs and spices.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which would be fun. Like that's what they want, and it's cool whenever people throw you something random, like doing a dinner party on Edgar Allan Poe's novel or in poems. Like people come to me with all kinds of crazy ideas. They're like, "Hey, what do we do here?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, this is what we do." So whether you're a Serena, a Blair, a Dan, a Chuck, let's be honest. The Gossip Girl dinner party proves one thing. Food and drama are always better together. And as always, you love me.
And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell.
You're listening to 90.7 FM WKGC, Panama City.